All right. Well, it seems like we've got a good number of folks that have joined us here today. Really appreciate everybody coming together on a a cloudy afternoon here in cold New England. We've got a lot of snow cover and more on the way. So I know there's a lot of folks from other parts of the country that are enjoying a little bit better weather than we are. So for today's webinar, we're going to try to keep it to about a half an hour. You've got an ability to hop in and ask questions. I'm joined here as a panelist with Chaz Rubino from our team. Chaz, say hi to everybody.
Hey, everyone.
And Chaz is going to be keeping track of questions that you type into the chat in the Zoom chat box. So, and then we'll review those at the end. We have just completed a very big software update. It's the reason for the webinar today. And we're going to review a whole bunch of stuff. First, we're going to look at a pre-pandemic picture of Dennis. So as you can see, his hair is cut. He's relatively clean shaven. He's wearing a shirt with a collar. These are all things were features of pre-pandemic Dennis. We don't put any pictures of post-pandemic Dennis up at this stage. This is how to get in touch with me. Love to talk to anybody. Shoot me an email, dennis@postalytics.com. Unfortunately, an email far too long of every day and every night, so I'll get back to you quickly. For today's agenda, we're going to kind of review at a high level what this product update is all about and how we think about product updates. We're going to drill into the top features that rolled out, talk a little bit about what's next coming down the pipeline from us from a product standpoint, and we will also have time for some question and answer at the end. From a strategy standpoint, folks here at Postalytics we've been involved in a number of software companies, both from a startup standpoint as well as some pretty big companies, and the strategy behind the product is such an important part of the way you build a business. And often when you're building a new business like what we've done, launching in 2018, you spend the first couple of years really get some early customers, get them using the software, and then you can really watch and learn. And so we really did that over the course of 2018. 2019, things really took off. We had about 1,000 people that had signed up for the software by the end of 2019. And so, we had a good number of users. And, as we were watching how they're using the software, things can be a little bit different than what you anticipated up front. And so, 2020 for us from a product standpoint really revolved around a couple of things. Number one, when you build a product, there's a foundation, sort of like you build a house. And so you build a foundation to support the house that you think you want. And then once you move in, you realize, well, the way people are using this house is a little bit different than the way we had anticipated. So in order for us to continue to build, we decided, hey, we got to invest in tweaking that foundation a little bit, building out some more infrastructure so that it can support a lot more growth. And so that's really what the year of 2020 was about. We rebuilt a lot of the underlying infrastructure beneath the surface, stuff that, as a user, you would never see. And we also enabled a whole new capability for us to build out our print and mail network. And so that took a tremendous amount of work, but now we're in a position to really scale a lot of different ways. We can build out a lot more features, add a lot more customers, build out more print and mail partners as we move forward. And so with that said, with all that investment done, in 2021, we're really more focused on new features. And so we've got now an ability to start banging out more features and changes in the software that you use every day, the user interface and the workflows and those types of things, so that kind of new feature development is going to be a key focus. This concept that we call reduce friction is another one. And what we mean by that is we're always looking for ways to make it faster and easier and more efficient for you to get your mail out and to use the software in a way that will continue to save you time. And so that idea of reducing friction is very important to us as we evolve the product. And then the other thing that we're going to be focusing on here in 2021 is more integrations. And we'll talk more about that as we go along. So, this particular release that we got out in early January it was very big. We did there's a lot of software that went into this, and there are two kind of key areas that we focused on. So the first is, as you saw in the beginning, and as we've talked about, is our customized envelope capability. And so, we've done surveys where we've asked our customers, hey, what would you like us to do? And those surveys have come back consistently and said, hey, you know what? Love the software. Really would like to be able to customize the outer envelope that the letters that you send are in. And so we get that a lot when we're talking to prospects, and we get it a lot from existing customers. So number one feature request, as I mentioned, new features is a key focus. And so we built out a bunch of new software that will allow you to create a custom envelope using our existing templating system and a lot of our existing processes. You can order a new customized envelope, and so we've created a whole new ordering process that actually leverages some of our existing software that you'll see in a few minutes. And we now are able to notify you when your custom envelopes are ready to go, and then send. And so you've got an ability to choose a customized envelope when you're sending a letter campaign, or choose a regular envelope. And we've built out a bunch of software to handle the inventory management and automatic reorders, that type of thing. And so, one of the conversations that we had with somebody about this before we launched the product, really smart direct mail copy guy, and he said, the design of your envelope is like the subject line of an email. And if you think about it, when you get that envelope, you hold it in your hand, you see what's there. What's there may or may not impact you and help you decide whether you're going to open that envelope or not. And so now we're giving marketers the ability to really customize both the front and the back of the envelope, and to give to test, what works best. Blank envelopes might work best for some things. Lots of color might work best for another thing. So lots of new capabilities there. The other key area, as we discussed, is reducing friction. And so you can see here, this is my feeble attempt at visual design. I'm married to an artist, and I have a daughter who's a graphic designer, and they're always mocking my attempts at creating visualizations that illuminate the things I'm trying to communicate. So you have to excuse me here. The first area of reducing friction is around our trigger drip campaigns. And so trigger drip campaigns are a type of campaign that sends out a single piece of mail when it is called by another system, a CRM, a marketing automation tool, an API call. And so the way that we launched that originally had a certain workflow to it. And, as we worked with customers, we realized, we can tweak this and make it a lot more efficient. And so we've done that. And we've also open them up. And so now you can access trigger drip campaigns, an unlimited number of trigger drip campaigns across all Postalytics plans. Next, we've created a new report called the Campaign Mail Events Report. And so that report is now accessible for every single Postalytics campaign. And it was really driven by the folks that are using our trigger drip campaigns because, you know, very rightly they want to know, hey, how much mail did I send over a period of time? Since there's no batch, there's no list that you're sending to. So it's not always clear, you know, how much came out of your CRM or your marketing automation tool. And so that really drove this. So we'll dive in and show a little bit of what that report is about. And then finally, we made some changes in our pricing. And those changes in pricing were really designed to reduce friction and to allow you to make a decision more easily, more quickly, and to have economics that make more sense to you. So that's at a high level what we're trying to do with this release. Next, we're going to drill in a little bit on the custom envelopes creation capability. And so I mentioned before, this new custom envelope process uses a lot of the exact same tools that you use to create any other Postalytics template. And so you build the template, you proof it, you save it, it becomes part of your template list, becomes a reusable asset. And that's a key concept within Postalytics, that your creative is something that should be reusable very, very quickly and easily. So you can see this is a single window template as opposed to a double window, which the current or the previous letters, or our standard letters as we call them now, are a double window number 10. These are a single window number 10. And so we're going to show the recipients in the window, and we give you the ability to create your own content for return address, if you so choose, put in graphics. You can do all sorts of coloring and images on the template itself. So just like all the rest of our templates, you can design them right in the editor, or you can upload a template that you've designed offline in one of the Adobe tools. And so we've updated our zip file that you can download from the app or our website that'll include now the template for the customized envelopes. You can drop into Photoshop or Illustrator or InDesign. We also, like every other template, give you a super fast way to proof. And so you can proof your customized envelopes using the Postalytics proofer. We'll generate that high-res PDF for you. And once your template is proofed, it can be put into production. And it's saved in your template list where you can, again, really easily make a copy of it, edit, so you can A/B test. You can run one customized envelope against another in side-by-side campaigns and see which one is performing better. So very similar process for creation of customized envelopes. Next, we'll dive into ordering. And so with the ordering process, we've leveraged our existing direct mail credits model. And so if you're familiar with buying credits, we've taken advantage of that software we've already built, and it allows you to actually purchase and order all at the same time. And so you'll have an ability to jump right into the direct mail credits tab that is underneath your account structure, or you can also order right after you proof a customized envelope. A little bit of a change with every other Postalytics format. There is no minimum, so you can just buy 100 credits for a 4x6 postcard. With customized envelopes, we decided that we needed a 2,500 piece minimum. And the reason why is that when you've got full 4-color front and back envelopes that are being printed, it gets super expensive on a per piece basis for small quantities. It was really just not worth, bringing that forward. So we decided to put in a 2,500 piece minimum for customized envelopes. And when you place your order, it will take, somewhere in the 10 days to 2 week time frame on average to fulfill that order. And so what happens is this gets packaged up, sent over to a print and mail partner. They then batch up an order. It can take a little bit of time. I'm guessing early on it's going to be probably a lot faster than this. As we scale it up, though, we want to give ourselves a little bit of time. And once the order is prepared, it will be then entered into inventory, and it will change its status from pending, which is what happens when you place the order, to ready. And so when your order is ready, we'll send you out an email notification and let you know, hey, this envelope is ready. You'll also see a change in the campaign wizards. And so you can see here that when you've got envelopes on order, they are below the fold and you can't select them. And once those envelopes have been entered in inventory, they'll then be able to be chosen as a step in your Smart Send or Trigger Drip campaign setup. So you can see when you choose a letter template, you'll now see an envelope option where you can choose the standard white envelope, which you can see is quantity unlimited. All of our print partners have a ton of these in stock at all times. Or you can choose a customized envelope that has been entered into inventory, and you can see what quantity you have available at that time. So you choose your envelope in the campaign wizard, and so our letter, the first page of our letter will work with either the plain number 2 white envelope or the customized envelope. And so you can use your existing letter templates in a new customized envelope, or you can run them side by side in competing campaigns against the plain white envelope. The printing and mailing process is identical. It works exactly the same way once everything is in inventory. And as you draw down your inventory, those balances are maintained. You can always see exactly how many you have left of each of your custom envelopes by going into the direct mail credits part of the software. And then we've created an automatic reorder capability where you can choose to have the software automatically reorder an envelope when you hit the 50% level, or you can choose a manual reorder. So now, moving into the reduced friction, we've changed the way that Trigger Drip campaigns work. So previously, we required you to buy at least 100 credits in order to finish the campaign wizard. And so what we learned after the fact was, hey, it'd be great if you could do the full round trip test from your CRM through the Trigger Drip and generate a PDF and make sure that your integration is working properly, all the fields are coming over properly. And so we really changed that workflow now so that you can complete the wizard and not buy credits. And then when you go to turn the Trigger Drip campaign live, if you don't have credits for that particular class, you then can purchase the credits right there. And so we've put the gate on turning the campaign live, and we've tied it to the ability to have enough credits to fund the campaign. And so that should ease a lot of your concerns in setting up trigger drip campaigns about spending money before you know the thing actually works. And we've also built out, talking about some of that infrastructure that we've created, a whole new method of queuing trigger drip campaign sends. And so if you run out of credits, our software is not going to just say, can't do it, and you lose the attempt to send out the piece of mail. Now, these will all be held in a queue for a few days so that you can buy credits or update your credit card or whatever you need to do, and then the system will pick up all of the attempts at a trigger drip, get them processed, and take them from there. So next, the campaign mail events report. As I mentioned, this is really designed for folks using the trigger drip campaigns so they can figure out how much did they send over what period of time. And so you can enter in a start date and an end date up to, I think, a full year. And then you can see, how many pieces did I mail? You can also choose other event types. So how many pieces were returned to sender? How many pieces were forwarded? How many pieces were delivered? All of those things you can choose from an event type. And then we'll give you a summary, as you can see at the top, the total number of records, and then the details of who exactly met the criteria that you have entered into the report. You can also download that report into a CSV file with all that detail, so you can slice and dice the data from there. And that is now accessible from the campaign listing. And so if you go click the action button, you see report, and that's how you launch this report from any Postalytics campaign. Next, as I mentioned, we really are trying to reduce the friction in you using Postalytics from a pricing standpoint. And so with trigger drips, we thought when we built Postalytics that folks who were going to be a part of the free plan really wouldn't have much need for trigger drips. They're just going to be sending out small campaigns on that are list-based. And we were wrong. So as it turns out, there's a lot of folks that have, lower volumes that want to tie Postalytics to their CRM, either through Zapier or through our API or through our HubSpot integration. And so we decided, well, as a part of this, let's reduce that friction. Some people just, they're not in a position to upgrade because their volume doesn't support, the actual subscription required for our other plans. And so we decided, hey, let's make this available for everybody. And so that was a big change. We've added a new price tier. Previously, we had a direct mail credit tier or a send tier of 2,500 to 10,000. And what we saw by studying the numbers is we actually had a lot of people in that 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 piece range. And they could use a little bit of a price break off of where we were. So we created a new pricing tier. And then finally, we made a big drop in our multi-page letter pricing. And so you can see that we dropped our pricing by over 30%. This was just an example of one of the tiers. And this really came about because one of our new print and mail partners was able to do much better, and we were able to pass along that pricing as a part of the software. Last little bit of friction work here. We've created a a faster process for you to import lists into Postalytics. And so first, if you're importing a CSV or an Excel file, we're going to automatically map all the columns. And so you don't have to go through and say, yeah, I'm going to need to map column 15 to variable data field 1, column 16 to variable data field 2 anymore. We'll just do that for you. You can deselect. And we discovered by watching users that most often the users wanted to map all of the columns that they had. And so that's now a new feature. We also now, if you match up the column names of your file to our field names, we'll auto map them for you. And so we'll match up. And so if you have a column that you name email, we're going to automatically match that to our email. If you have one that's named phone, we're going to automatically match that to phone. First name, etc. So that is designed to speed up the whole process of list mapping. And then finally, if you're importing from a CRM, we're going to remember the last mapping that you've done. And so what that will do is it will give you the ability to not have to select, some field of the 600 custom fields that you've got developed in your CRM every single time that you set up a list import. And because what we discovered, this is a great feature request from one of our clients, they're continually importing the same fields. And some of the customization of these CRMs is massive. And so to hunt and peck and find all of those personalization fields every single time you import and do the same thing over and over again made no sense. And so we created this ability to remember the last mapping of your CRM import. And then finally, we created some new alerts and shortcuts. And so on your homepage, you can quickly see exactly how many credits you have left. And you can tap into our What's New pop-up, which will be refreshed as we continue to change the software. And we also are giving you more data in your campaign listing. So we're telling you how many credits you have left in your triggered drips, and we'll give some visual indication as you're getting low and you're getting out of direct mail credits, which can stop your campaign. So that's what we've done here in this release. And then finally, before we get into questions, what's next? And so as we head into 2021, we mentioned that the reducing friction was a big part of this. And so one of the things we're going to be working on is a revamped homepage. And so that first page when you log in that shows you information about your campaigns. Today it shows you the information about your most recent 10. And we've gotten a lot of feedback from customers with a lot of ideas. And so we're going to be revamping that homepage and give you a whole lot more information without a lot of work. And so that kind of meets the definition of reduced friction. Next, we're going to be developing some new personalization tools. And so those will be rolling out over the course of the year, as well as more pre-built templates. And so look for those as the next few months proceeds, and we'll announce them as we go along. We'll also be building out a whole lot of new integrations, as I mentioned. And so we'll be rebuilding the infrastructure that supports our existing integrations. It's one of the, again, when you watch the software for a while, you see it scale, you think, there's some better ways we can do this. So we're going to be rebuilding some of that, which will give us an ability to have more integrations rolling out more quickly, as well as build some more API tools for our third-party developers. And so if you want to embed Postalytics in your app or build your own integration into Postalytics, there's going to be more capability around our existing API. And so that's what we have planned for the next year, or for the next few months anyway. And now, why don't we answer some questions? Chaz, tell us, what questions do we have out there?
Yeah, we have a few out here, Dennis. The first question being, is the envelope a number 10 window, or is a standard number 10 also available?
Yeah, so it is a number 10 window. And so there's a single window as opposed to a double window. And that way you don't have to print labels, or you don't have to have addresses printed on the exterior. You can order in bulk and then have a envelope that will display the address of each of your recipients, along with the customization you've done on the rest of the envelope.
Perfect, thank you. Once envelopes are in inventory, can they be used with letters in a triggered campaign? So a triggered drip campaign, yeah. Yes,
they can. They can be used for trigger drips as well as smart sends.
Perfect. And how are the new features being rolled out? Do they apply to all account types?
Yeah, great question. So all of these features that have been included in this release are available for all account types. As a matter of fact, as we discussed with the trigger drips, we actually opened up more features into the free and marketer accounts by creating unlimited trigger drips. So this release is about making these features available to everybody. Some features down the road will be restricted to certain account tiers, and we'll make sure that that is communicated properly. And you can always go to the What's New button on your homepage and see what the latest features are, and then it'll have links to our help docs that'll describe them in more detail. If you're interested in more information about this release, it's on our blog, a big detailed blog post there. And of course, you can always reach out to me, Dennis at Postalytics. You can hit Chaz at Charles at Postalytics, our support group, support at Postalytics, or give us a call. Chaz, are there any other questions?
Nope, that was it.
Well, I didn't keep it to half hour. We're at 1:34. Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. Don't hesitate to reach out. We look forward to talking to you and giving you more great software as the year rolls on.